Yo, good morning, London. What is going on? Wow, what an evening we have had with cryptocurrency. Now, regardless of whether or not it was news orientated, whatever has been put out there or whatever has instigated the market to move the way it has moved, we're going to try and understand very shortly the beauty of why this move technically has played out. All right? Whatever causes price to move, okay, there's always something happening beforehand to justify it. Remember, the idea is they have to prepare the positions. They can't just come to the market and throw orders and hope that price is just going to move in that narrative. No, there always has to be the exchange between buyer and seller. There always has to be people trapped in certain positions so that they can run price to the opposite direction and activate those points of liquidations in the zones. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the London Open. I just want to give you the levels and make sure that you guys are set for this move that may continue, okay, may see a bit of a retrace, but let's see what they're going to do today. So let's break it down. Mad love and respect to you people passing through. So here we go. Let's just take it back a little bit, going back on the idea that things were needing to prepare themselves. Now, I'm looking into a little bit of volume profile on the charts, as you can see right here, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a lot of these zones marked out. Now, this is the projection that I gave out yesterday to the guys in the Patreon and the masterclass sessions. So look, we understood that Bitcoin was forming a pattern. Okay, and we saw from yesterday, Monday being a very quiet day, that they were building the longs at lower prices at the highest possible point. Now, this is important. In relation to the hybrid system itself, we understand that when we start to see an influx of candlesticks like the red ones here, which are called red vector candles, and we can see that they're not closing at their lowest points, kind of gives us a clue as to what the narrative is moving forward. Now, you can see these areas that I've marked off here are the average daily range to the upside or to the downside. And the principle says that if Bitcoin can break higher, then they're likely to complete an ADR move to the upside or to the downside. So in other words, Bitcoin's likely to travel, if you look up here, 20,578 pips. That's the smallest change in price, okay? And we assume that if we do get the direction, that Bitcoin is likely to travel in one session 20,000 to the upside or 20,000 to the downside. But looking at the criteria of this W formation right here, we anticipated that Bitcoin was going to come towards these previous points of control right here, which sits at the psychological low. So here are the confluences coming into play. Previous point of control for the volume profile of this area right here. And then we also had this profile right here, ladies and gentlemen, which factors in a bigger time zone. And of course, a lot more activity by the market in this area. Okay, now listen, volume profile and what have you, and points of control. Points of control tell you where most of the volume is transacted, but you can't just make trades solely off the volume profile. You have to add it into confluence. So here are the confluences that came into this chart, right? You've got the psychological low, which sits at the point of control, as you can see ever so slightly right there. You've got the first push out. You've got the stopping volume candles appearing at the lower point of the chart, which sits just slightly below this point of control right here. We then see price coming and holding at the 200 EMA. You've got the red vector candle pointing to the downside, but not finalizing at the lower point, telling me the market favored lower prices to activate the guys to go short, to commit them to the opposite direction, which would then in principle get them to commit their liquidation points and margins needed to open shorts. They move price back to the 50 EMA, they reverse it back down. Another stopping volume candle there, stopping volume candle there, and of course another one in the middle. Now you can see this whipping and whacking of price is consistent with the market just trying to grab as much liquidity in this zone. Remember, the market maker, liquidity provider, knows where he's going to send price. Okay, now on that principle, ladies and gentlemen, you can see what happened afterwards. We projected out 42,400, which was the next point of interest in the chart, breaking through this point of control right here with these two red arrows, and we anticipated further movement to the upside. And as you can see, Bitcoin has done exactly just that. They've broken through the psychological low, high volume, right? Breaking through the previous point of control, high volume, 1, 2, 3 hits to the high. They do things in threes. Remember that. The market maker likes to do things in threes. The principle would say as follows, ladies and gentlemen, if we look at the volume below in terms of the tick chart, now that we've had just out of nowhere, you can see that we've had the first bout of volume in this area here. So you've got 1, yeah? Then we had the next bout of volume, which is 2. Now, if you notice, as price is formulating this pattern right here and trying to come away from the zone, volume's starting to rise. So we can profile and say, yes, interest is coming into the chart. Now, where is price likely to end up next, ladies and gentlemen? This is the key thing. Of course, we know that when price does this big move to the upside, if the strength is present, once the retrace happens, we're then going to anticipate them to try and move higher. Happy days. So this is what we need to do. We need to zoom out. Let me just break up the chart like so. And we need to look at where the next point of interest could be in the chart. We've got the next point of interest up here, which is the previous red vector candle, which we've been marking off in the streams for the past 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen. These are points in the chart that we've been waiting for Bitcoin to end up in. And we've got finally this point of interest up here, which sits at some interesting point with the volume profile itself. Okay? Now, the journey that Bitcoin's likely to take from the current situation right now is as follows. We've got the potential for price to come up into this range, retrace back into it, and start this formation to the upside. All right? This is what we would be looking for. And why do we need retraces? Because the retraces is where the market maker, in principle, he doesn't buy at premium. He sells at premium. So we want to see the selling happen at the highest point, and we want to see the buying happening at the lowest point. You see, the market maker will trap the trader to buy at a premium, and he will trap the trader to sell at a discount. You don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? You go to a car dealership, you don't ask to buy the most expensive car that increases in value continuously. You ask to buy a car whose value is going to stay at what it is, with the potential for it to reduce or increase in the near future. In other words, if you're going to be selling a car, all right, and you want to get the best possible price for it, your goal is to sell it at a higher price than what you had initially brought it for. The same thing when it comes to buying something again. If you want to buy something, you want to try and buy it at the lowest possible point with the potential to sell it at the highest possible point later on. Why would trading be any different? Why would you want to buy at the highest price? And why would you want to sell at the lowest price? Because the narrative goes that people are being taught that when price is rising, it means that it's going to continue to rise. Yeah, if price is rising and you have entered in this area here, happy days. Okay? Now, similar to what I did yesterday, I had set myself up for a trade last night with Ethereum. There was my entry point right there. It was only a test trade. And I wanted to test out, because what I like to do is I like to scale into my trades if I'm believing that there's going to be a bigger move happening. So this was our entry point from Ethereum last night. And we then took the utility of the W formation and we saw price shift out. Let me bring up Ethereum just to show that example. Happy days. So this is where we were from last night. We had projected out the following range on our trades. Where was it? Let me bring that picture up for you just so we can put that into perspective. Here it is. So this was the before last night. I anticipated that we were going to come and see on the 5-minute time frame at least this point of interest in the chart because of the previous red vector candle zone right there, which sits at the previous point, the day's point of control in that area. Okay? Now, of course, if you look at price action, they came up into that zone, reverse price back down, which is why the retrace is important, because the retrace proves that once they break out from that range, is the market maker going to try and get in cheaper again at the lowest possible point at the highest range? Look at the red vector candle. They came down, held the range, stayed within the structure, shifted out. Happy days. So what can we expect for Ethereum going into the London session? Well, ladies and gentlemen, as long as price maintains above the 5 and the 13 EMA, it would imply that the volume, the momentum, is currently present in the chart. Now, we are likely to see a lot of selling in this area by Mr. Market Maker. Why? Because he has trapped enough traders to step in on the idea that they are missing out on an opportunity to see price move to the upside. We are right now in retrace territory. It's either going to retrace and bounce from this point right here, or it's going to break down, come into the psychological high, but it has tested the psychological high for Ethereum, as you can see. It's tested that zone already in that zone, so we are likely to see if there's going to be a continuation further up. If there is going to be that continuation further, well, then we're likely to see higher price movement. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, mad love and respect for being in this video. I hope it serves its purpose. Just remember as well, guys, always pay yourselves if you do decide to take advantage of any trades. You take advantage of volatility. We naturally always want to see Bitcoin moving to the upside, happy days and what have you. But guys, there's no point in doing this game of trading if you're not going to pay yourselves, okay? Remember that. And also at 2 o'clock today, I'll be going live for the New York session. Man, I've got these boomer moments happening left, right and center, ladies and gentlemen. I'm quite pumped this morning. I've been up most of the night watching this price action, keeping an eye out on what the price is going to do coming into today's morning session. But of course, when did this candle start? Started at 2 a.m. What's 2 a.m.? The Hong Kong Open. Always trade the opens, ladies and gentlemen. All right? Have yourselves a lovely day, and I will catch up with you later on. Take care of yourselves. Peace.